Hi, my name is Dan Cunliffe and I am the MD of Pangea. Thank you so much for joining us for this month's video blog where we're coming from Australia. For those who tuned into last month, you would have known we gave a bit of a teaser to whether or not we'd be in a new continent, and Australia is the new continent where we are. We're here doing some research on the market which is absolutely fantastic, specifically in mining, agriculture and logistics. There's some really interesting things going on in that world. However, while there's some lots of fascinating and interesting things to do here in Australia, there's also challenges in terms of the size of the country and of course being able to provide multi-network services to such a massive continent has its own challenges. So us as Pangea, we think we've got some answers there for them, but stay tuned to see what happens there. Chris in my team will also be writing a blog specifically on what the market looks like out here, so please stay tuned for that in this month's HTML newsletter. Some of the other things we did this month was the team attended the two trade shows in London. One was Lux Live, which is all about smart energy and lighting, and the other one was Apps World. And as you can understand, apps and M2M, really interesting markets that can work very well together. This month we also thought of ways to keep you, the audience, more informed of what we do, and the marketing has gone for a really interesting application called Periscope. Periscope, for those of you who've never used it, is a real-time application that you can download, and it allows you to follow someone, and what they see on their camera you can see on yours. For example, if you're an estate agent and you had your own application in Periscope or your own account, you could then go and have a look at the exact same things that they're doing when they do a show house. So this month we did our own, which we called Pangea Scope, and Chris and Whoopi did a session on M2M. So if you want to see a few moments of what they did, have a look at this now.
So just another one that's popped up, which we get quite often, is in terms of commercials and pricing. So as you expect, there would be a price difference between a normal single network SIM card and an M2M SIM.
Yeah, I suppose it comes in a couple of levels really. So the first part really is because of the extra management we have around the SIM card. So back in the beginning I was discussing real-time management, monitoring usage and all those kind of associated features that the M2M SIMs have. So obviously all that kind of stuff comes at a small cost. The second part is depending on the type of networks you would want to have with the M2M SIM, so the cost can change. So every time you kind of get more networks on the SIM, there's a different pricing structure, which is a reflection of the fact that the mobile network providers have to set up all these different roaming arrangements and account for that.
Yeah.
Thanks Chris, and thanks Whoopi for doing that for us. For those of you who'd like to see the full version of that, please do log into Pangea Scope, which is via Periscope, and if you search for Pangea Connected, you'll see the beginning and hopefully a very good series which we're calling Pangea Scope. Finally, I'd just like to make a few announcements about some of the partners and the work we've been doing. Firstly, we are very pleased about one of our partners who have launched in Europe this month in the hospitality sector, doing some very interesting things, combining Airbnb and some very clever monitoring technology. Finally, we also have an opportunity out in South America in the public sector that we're trialing, some really interesting things going on in that part of the world, so please stay tuned for that as well. As always, it's a huge pleasure to have people listen to what we're saying once a month. And if you do want to follow us or be involved, you can always follow us at Twitter, which is @Pangea Connected. We're on LinkedIn, so if you search for us under Pangea Connecting Everything, you'll find us there. Finally, you're probably watching this via YouTube, so please do subscribe to this channel. And we have a new one now, which is the channel via Periscope, which is again Pangea Connected. Thanks so much for joining me and for tolerating the wildlife here in Australia. The next time we're coming back to you, we'll be back in Europe, ready for Christmas and some winter time. I'm Dan Cunliffe, the MD of Pangea. Thank you very much.